Hi, I'm Todd Swanson. Welcome to the class. Over the next 7 weeks, I'm looking forward to exploring some very important issues together. But before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself so you can understand where I'm coming from. I am an associate professor of religious studies here at ASU, and I'm also a senior sustainability scholar in the Global Institute for Sustainability. Over the past many years, my research has focused on comparing how the Western Christian tradition and the native traditions of the Americas differently understand the human self in its relation to the natural world. I'm interested in the way the native traditions understand the earth, mountains, water, plants, and animals as alive, as having agency, as being in some way personal like we are. I'm interested in understanding the respect and the emotions with which they engage the natural world. And I'm convinced that understanding these differences is of great significance for the way people live their lives and also for the sustainability of our world. I have a PhD in religious studies from the University of Chicago and an undergraduate degree from the University of Minnesota in linguistics. One of the main ways that I approach the study of the social relation to nature is through anthropological linguistics. That is, looking at native language narratives and seeking to understand how plants and animals, water, earth, are construed within the indigenous language narratives. I am bilingual in Spanish. I speak Amazonian Quechua fluently, and I am in the process of trying to learn 2 more Amazonian languages. My research focuses on the indigenous traditions of the Ecuadorian Amazon, where I grew up. When I was 6 years old, my parents moved to the Ecuadorian Amazon, where they would spend their careers as evangelical missionaries. My father was a doctor who spent his life giving medical attention to remote indigenous communities, as well as a small hospital. He would travel out to these communities, oftentimes in a small plane or in a canoe. That's him there near the front with the camera and the hat. And when there was room, he would take me with him. So I got to travel to many of the remote communities throughout the Ecuadorian Amazon during those years. My mother had been a teacher before she left the United States, and so she homeschooled me when she had time. But both my parents were very busy. To keep me entertained, my dad used to give shotgun shells to a Quechua man named Agustin Topwe. So I had the good luck of, when I was 6, 7, 8, and 9 years old, to spend many hours out in the forest with Agustin. For him, the forest was alive and something unpredictable, something that responded to respect and humor like a human being might respond. From him, I learned not only to hunt and to fish, to walk quietly in the forest, but also to love the stories of the native tradition. My relation to the Ecuadorian Amazon continued into adulthood. I'm happily married to Josefina Andi, who was born and raised in a Quechua community about 30 miles from where I grew up, so from our same home area. We have 4 children, 3 of whom have attended ASU. We continue to have a home in the Ecuadorian Amazon. I run a 1,300-acre forest preserve near her home community. I also run a field school in my wife's home community each summer, where we bring together a group of researchers to work on the Amazon. We also bring undergraduates and graduate students who study Quechua language, medical anthropology, traditional Amazonian ceramics. And it's a place which has become an important part of my social life, where made close friends with graduate students and faculty who've come down over the years and who I continue to engage and correspond with and work together. Well, that's enough about me, and I look forward to getting to know each of you over the next 7 weeks. Thank you.